So now that we have our envelope in place, our patch is looking pretty good. Um, Again, we have our mapping editor with our samples. And so this is a functional patch. We have very few variations, right? There's only one sample down bow at one dynamic. But the principle, basically, to add more articulations or more variations is very similar. So what I'm going to show you now is how to add the up bow to our down bow and how to choose how we're going to switch between down bow and up bow. So I'm going to go back to my uh, list of samples, and now I'm going to concentrate on the up bow. So I'm going to drag my E1 up bow, and before dragging it on top of my E1 down bow, I'm going to make sure that the span of the zone matches, right? So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and my E1 spans from E to F, right? So I'm going to make sure that this one also spans from E to F. Then I'm going to drag it on top. You have to be careful to do it correctly because it's a little bit tricky to look at the different zones that are overlapping. So now I'm going to grab my F sharp up bow and I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to make sure that it's going to be between F sharp and G. Then I'm going to drag it right on top of this zone and so on. So I'm going to do the same now for all the zones. Okay, now that I have uploaded all the up bow samples, as you can see, I cannot really see and distinguish which one are down bow and which one are up bow because they all overlap. So to have a better view of my samples, I'm going to switch to list view. This is a great tool to see the same samples in the same zones, but just in a different view. And here I can see them basically by file name and by key, but I don't have the velocity in view, right? So as you can see here, I'm going to have E1 down bow, E1 up bow, and they overlap. So this is a great view in order to see if you did your work correctly in the previous step. So what I want to do now is to select all my down bow and all my up bow and create two different groups. Groups are simply a way of grouping together different zones. And I want to create a down bow and an up bow group. So I'm going to just select them by pressing Command to select non-contiguous samples. Make sure you select all the down bows. I think I got them all. And once they are all selected, simply right click on any of the selected zones and I'm going to say move zones to new group. As you can see now, all the down bows are in one new group. And now I can select the up bow and either assign it to a new group or just simply rename group 1. To rename groups, let's go to the group editor and I can just double tap and this is going to be my down group and this is going to be my up group. So now they are very well organized by group. The reason why we do this is because now we need to make sure that we can switch between up bow and down bow. And to do so, we have different options. I can choose either a key switch, a control change, or a bunch of other parameters. But to keep it simple, we're going to choose a key switch, which means a key on our keyboard that is outside the range of the instrument. So to do so, make sure that the edit all group is off, because we don't want to edit them all. We just want to edit the selected group. And so with the down group selected, I'm going to go to Group Start Options. In this area, I can select the criteria with which a certain group is going to be selected. So as a default, it has always, which means when I press a key, that group and that zone is going to play. But instead, I want to switch to Start on Key. And so with starting on key, it means that my down group would be only triggered when I press first the C0 key. That's my key switch for down bow. Now I'm going to switch to the up group. And when it says Group Start Option, I'm going to choose on key, but with a different key. As you can see, when I press down, C0 will be the trigger key. For up, C#0. So now, when I press a C0 key, I'm going to hear my down bow. But when I press my C#0, I'm going to hear my up bow. So the idea here is that I want to switch, right, between the two, maybe every other note if I don't want a legato. Down bow, switch to up bow, switch to down bow, switch to up bow, down bow, you can see the zone that is being triggered because it is highlighted in yellow. Down bow, switch, up bow. So this is how you create a simple key switch for down bow and up bow.